Welcome to Arsenal. Martin Odegaard has signed. He has joined on loan at Arsenal for the remainder of this season. And there is a lot of hype. There is a lot of excitement from Arsenal fans. We all know this kid. This kid has been around and in the football world now for 5 or 6 years. He was a 15-year-old. He was a sensational signing that Real Madrid brought to their club. Arsenal now have on loan. We want your instant live reaction to this news. Leave us your comments below. Make sure you're smashing the like button. Will Odegaard be a hit? Will he be successful at Arsenal Football Club? Is this good business from Arsenal? And I see a lot of people criticizing them, feeding other clubs, supporting other clubs' development and growth. It's too short-term a fix. Or is it just a case of we need a short-term fix? We need somebody in the interim who's going to provide a creative spark. We've got Emil Smith-Rowe, but we need more than that. We know Ceballos can't do it. Ozil's gone. Good business from Arsenal. I want to hear from you right now, but make sure you're smashing like buttons. You're hitting the share buttons as well. But Odegaard is officially an Arsenal player. The website in itself, we'll show you what the website says in a moment. We'll actually share that on the screen with you so you can all take a look at that with us. We'll put that up right about now. Maybe I'll zoom in a little bit. Help everybody's, we'll accept that. We'll do this. We'll zoom in a little bit more. Help everybody's eyesight out a bit. It says the Norwegian international Martin Odegaard is joining from Real Madrid on loan for the remainder of the season. Arsenal say we are delighted to welcome Martin to the club until the end of the season. I would like to thank everyone at Real Madrid and Martin's representatives for their collaboration in making this loan move happen. Martin is an exceptional talent, and we are strengthening our squad by introducing an exciting offensive player to the club for the remainder of this campaign. He's going to wear the number 11 shirt. Mikel Arteta has said it's great that we've secured Martin to come to us until the end of the season. Martin is, of course, a player that we all know very well. And although he's still young, he's been playing at the top level for a while. Martin will provide us with quality offensive options, and we're all excited to be integrating him into our plans between now and May. It goes on to tell you a little bit about him. As we say, he's going to wear the number 11 shirt at Arsenal. But I want to ask the question here today of Arsenal fans that are tuning in and watching. Is this the right move? Are you comfortable with just loaning a player, or do you want a little bit more? Do you think the Arsenal Football Club should be aiming to be more than loaning players? Should they be looking to get this on a permanent deal? Should they have been looking to sort of set some marker in some way to say, well, if he plays well, if he hits certain metrics or options to buy? There was all that talk originally. Is it a little more underwhelming than you first thought it may be? I want your views and opinions on this because they matter more than anybody as Gooners. Let's go to some of your live comments that are coming in here. And as we say, that's the deal. It is done. His first interview is also available on Arsenal's direct channel as well. Odegaard flopped in La Liga is what Chelsea fan has got to say here. One of our members here, come on you Gooners 13 times, says Odegaard about to get bare hate from rivals. And you know what? No one can deny that he's not a talented boy. This move tells me he's more talented than maybe I gave him respect for. And I'll tell you why. Because Real Madrid are not just letting him go. There's no option to buy. It's not an 18-month loan deal. This is to give him game time. This is the only thing I would say that's maybe a negative for Arsenal. Are you training up somebody else's youngster? Is there not somebody else you could have gone and got in January? Maybe not. Maybe Arsenal don't even have the ideals. Maybe they know we ain't keeping this guy forever. We're going to go for Aouar in the summer. Can't get him now, though. So we need a makeshift between now and then. We need a stopgap paperweight between now and then. Big shout out to our title sponsors, Manscaped. Get your 20% discount of all male grooming products. Link is available in the description below. Shadman here says, I hope he does well at Arsenal. He has the potential, and the idea of Odegaard playing in a youthful side with Saka, Martinelli and Smith-Rowe is exciting. I think it's certainly exciting for people. There's no doubt about that whatsoever. I think it's definitely an exciting thing for people to look at in relation to that. Stephen here is a Liverpool fan, says Ozil is now gone and they went and bought, well, they didn't buy him, they've loaned Odegaard. The Arsenal board need to back up what they have said if he fouls in the Prem. That's the one issue with it, isn't it? If this does fail in the Prem, Odegaard is good, but Awar and Sabitzer should be the priority in the summer. And maybe that's what it is. And this is where rivals need to be. You're always going to get banter, but this is where I'm trying to be as fair as possible. Maybe, just maybe, there's this element of, we know we'd love Odegaard permanently, but Real Madrid are not going to allow that to happen. And that was my point the other day. If this deal was a 6-month loan deal with a compulsory purchase order, I'd be concerned, because very rarely in football, the massive clubs let super talented youngsters leave so simplistically. The fact there's no buy-on clause or anything else, this is serving both parties well. So in truth, it's a good deal. Put all the banter aside, in truth, it's a good deal. The last attacking midfielder signed for a Big Six club in January has 33 goals in as many games. This should be equaled or bettered, or is he considered a flop? Listen, he isn't going to do what Bruno Fernandes has done. That I'm almost completely and utterly sure about. There's no doubt about it whatsoever. Facts, Terry, he's only here short term. And that's what I'm saying. Like I said, if he was here short-term loan with a compulsory option to buy, that would concern me. Why don't Real Madrid want him? Why are they letting him go so easily? If there was an option to buy, maybe an 18-month loan deal with an option to buy at the end that Real Madrid controlled and had the power over, I'd be worried, because if he kills it, they're taking him back, or they're not going to let you buy him. If he flops, it's no good for anybody. This scenario, I think, tells you one thing, and it's always good to see the wood for the trees. This tells you Arsenal know they're not going to keep him beyond this period of time. Enjoy him, he's going to go. But you've got bigger plans down the line. And the reason you know you've got bigger plans is because there's no option to buy clause at the end of it. That, for me, speaks volumes about this. I don't think it's a negative deal. I think it's a good deal. Now we know the facts. A realistic Gunnar Laurie here says, stop moaning. January is always a difficult window to get players in. Bruno deals are a flash in the pan. People need to calm down. Yeah, Bruno deals are rarities. They're rarities in the game. You're absolutely right, Laurie. There's no doubt about that whatsoever. No doubt about it whatsoever. It just is what it is. But what you're going to find, Arsenal fans, you're going to get banter from your rivals, because right now your rivals are hurting a little bit. Right now your rivals are a little bit frustrated. They're a little bit angry. They're a little bit annoyed because Arsenal have signed someone that just in the short term is going to improve their team. And you've got teams like Liverpool that are scraping about the barrel. They've not bought anybody, and I think it makes, certain fan bases just a little bit angry, a little bit bitter, and everything else that kind of comes with that. And I've said this before to Arsenal fans in the past, you just got to sometimes take this sort of banter on the chin, wipe your mouth, and then move on, because this is what part of being a big club is about. You're always going to get this level of abuse and this level of criticism, even when you do good things. And I'll take back what I said the other day. By the sounds of the deal originally, it looked quite negative from my point of view, in the sense of the way it was being portrayed. Now it isn't. It's a 6-month loan deal. You've got bigger plans in the summer. Everybody moves forward. Real Madrid want to keep him. It tells you he's a good player. Real Madrid want to keep him. It tells you he is a good player. You just can't get away from that. Legitimately, you can't get yourselves away from that. Top player. Top talent, anyway. Let me rephrase that again. Top talent as opposed to top player. But there we go. Terry, do you still think you're winning the league, or was you drunk? I wasn't drunk. I was excited. No. It was just excitement coming out of me. I've calmed down now. It's as simple and as straightforward as that. Hey, Gal, I've sent you the link, bro, just so you know. Fabrizio Romano said Arsenal and Madrid will have talks in the summer to talk about the situation. Maybe he can sign. Maybe they will. Like, if he the thing is, if he kills it at Arsenal may change their mind about Awar or Sabitzer. They might say, actually, this kid, he's settled, he's doing well. A bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. But then Real Madrid might look at it and go, yeah, but we want him now. We think he's ready for us. We're going to start playing him regularly. So maybe they can do a deal. But the great thing is for Arsenal, there's no compulsory option to buy. So if he flops, you ain't got to fork out 30, 40 million pound on him. If he does well, it was never the case that he was going to stay. So there's no harm, no foul. I think the way this has now been structured, I changed my mind from the other day, and I think it's a good deal. Man like Igal is here with us. Igal, you signed him. It's on a 6-month loan deal. No option to buy at the end of it. I mean, what's your overall thoughts on the deal in its entirety?
This is a short-term solution to a long-term problem. Obviously, it's not the solution to our midfield issue. To me, if we're going to solve this issue, the no-brainer signing is to go in hard for Jack Grealish in the summer. I know people are gonna laugh at me, but that is the guy I want in the summer if we can. And I think the whole fan base would be galvanized by that signing. So if I'm looking at if the club has big plans in the summer, hopefully it's to go after a Jack Grealish or to go after a big signing of the ilk of a Jack Grealish, right? And when it comes to Odegaard signing, he can play as a right winger, which he played majority of the time at over at when he was playing in the Eredivisie. He played in the midfield. He played as a striker. He played on the left wing. He's very versatile. So he gives us options throughout the whole front three. Yeah, and it gives us more versatility now that we don't have to worry about only playing Emil Smith Rowe on the 10, only playing Saka on the right, only playing Pepe on the right. We can play all our players all over the pitch, and it gives more versatility to the manager. So I think it's a good thing long term for the remainder of the season, I mean.
Yeah, I hear you. Like I said the other day, the question mark is still out for me. I know he's a top talent. I get that. The question mark's still out as to whether or not Odegaard is ever going to fulfill the potential that the 15, 16-year-old boy demonstrated to the world. That there is still that question mark. I thought it's always a concern when a big club is willing to sell a young, talented player. Why don't they want to keep him and integrate him further? Equally, there's always a risk for the buying club to do a 18-month loan deal with a compulsory purchase order at the end, because if he flops, you've still got to pay it. Spurs' deal for Jedson Fernandez is perfect. You do it for 2 years and you've got an option to buy at the end. You're in control. A lot of the early sound outs made it look like a bad deal from an Arsenal point of view. But actually, in the end, it's 6 months. If he kills it, you might make an inquiry to see if you can get him permanently. And then the decision goes down to him. And you might find that it changes his mind then. He might go, listen to his representatives, get me out of Real Madrid. I respect what they've done for me, but Arsenal want me. I'm still going to be on the bench at Real Madrid. And they can make that decision, and you may then move away from Jack Grealish or or something like that. On Jack Grealish, do you legitimately think that Arsenal have the size, the stature, pulling power, and money to sign one of the most talented and highly coveted footballers in the world right now?
I'll say this to you right now, Terry. As Arsenal Football Club, if they're serious about building a title challenging team in the coming future, what they're gonna have to do is they're gonna have to go get the best English talent so we don't have to worry about the English quota. That's one thing that all the major clubs have to worry about is having players in the squad so they meet the English quota, with Saka coming up and Emil Smith Rowe coming up, and we can pair him with the possible Jack Grealish. And the reason why I say Jack Grealish is possible, if we were to sell Ainsley Maitland-Niles and sell a couple of these players here and there and get 50 million out of nowhere, right there is a deposit for Jack Grealish. You're not going to pay the sum of his whole contract. You're not going to pay the whole 100 million up front. You're going to probably pay 50 million in one window, and then the rest of it over time. That's just me assuming how a breakdown of a contract would go, right?
Well, yes. I mean, most transfers are not paid in lump. The whole thing in lump sums. There's an air of the debt's written off via amortization. Most clubs pay in installments. That's fairly well coveted. But for me, it's more, do you think Jack Grealish would pick Arsenal over Manchester United, Manchester City, Liverpool Football Club? Do you think where you are right now would be attractive, with no Champions League football, would be attractive enough for a player like Jack Grealish? Or would he not just be better off staying at Aston Villa that are around the same level as you right now?
If Jack Grealish comes to Arsenal, we're giving him a bigger platform with better players, and an opportunity to grow to become a bigger on the world stage. Let's be honest, he'll have more notoriety with being at Arsenal. Obviously, if he was to choose Manchester United over, if it was a straight choice, Manchester United or Arsenal, it would be up to the player. It wouldn't be up to us as fans. We don't make that decision. But what I would say is, if it was a situation where Arsenal was the only team that actually could make the deal happen, and it was a similar situation to Timo Werner picking Liverpool or the team that's actually putting the money forward, like Chelsea, it would be the club that takes him. And if we have the money, and we have the opportunity to get him as a club, I think it's a no-brainer. And I think the whole fan base would agree with me. If we were to go get Jack Grealish, he would solve our issues with leadership. He would solve our issues with creativity through the middle of the park. And he would also solve our issues with having somebody who can take the scruff of the neck, take the game to the opponent, and push the whole team forward. And that, to me, long term, if we're going to look for solutions, we can't be constantly going to get players that aren't Premier League proven. Get the best player in the Premier League that's outside of the top six, put him into your team immediately. You're a contender in the next coming years.
I heard what you said there, Mr. Hancock. You didn't answer my question.
I think I did.
No, you ducked my question. Do you think if Man United and Chelsea go in for Jack Grealish at the same time as Arsenal, do you think Jack Grealish would conceivably pick Arsenal in front of either of those teams?
I think he would pick Arsenal over Chelsea based on the fact that Arsenal is one of the clubs that he said he's loved to play at the Emirates. He's loved to play at Arsenal. I think he generally would pick Arsenal over Chelsea, but I don't think he'd pick Arsenal over Manchester United based on the platform that he'd have as a player to grow his own brand.
That's answering the question. And listen, I don't know. I honestly think, I'm not even trying to throw salt here. If every big six team went in for him, and Leicester, if they all went in for him this summer, so we're all trying to buy you, I think Arsenal would be one of his last choices. I think Liverpool, City, Man United would be top three.
Okay, but that's disillusioning us, Terry, as fans. Realistically, not every single top team is going to come in for a player. If every single top team came in for Timo Werner, he wouldn't have gone to Chelsea. Let's be honest.
I understand that. But my point is this. I think if they did, I think just do the big six. Let's take out Leicester for a moment. If we did the big six, the traditional big six, I think Arsenal would be bottom of his list. I think he'd pick Chelsea and Tottenham before you. That's just my view. So the only way you're getting
pick Tottenham. Are you crazy, Terry? No, he wouldn't.
I think he would. Tottenham are champions.
No, he wouldn't. Listen, Tottenham cannot offer him the financial pay package that Arsenal could, or Chelsea could, or even Manchester United could, right? When it comes to Leicester would not offer him the global impact that he would be able to put as wearing an Arsenal kit or a Manchester United kit. In addition to that, Chelsea, he wouldn't have any actual connection to Chelsea. He does have a soft spot for Arsenal, saying he wants to play, saying Emirates is one of the favorite places to ever play. Like, I'm saying, Terry, when you say Tottenham, Leicester, you're saying that as a little bit as banterish, or basically saying maybe they're in a better situation.
I'm saying because they're in a better situation than you. This isn't about banter. For me, Tottenham are a Champions League team. They're in a Champions League position. I think they've got a massive chance of making it into the. That's going to be, by the way, that's a big deciding factor. So when it comes to the summer, there's going to be multiple clubs coming for Jack Grealish. In my opinion, 4, 5, 6 are going to make inquiries. I think the first thing Jack Grealish is going to say to his representatives is, I want Champions League football. Barring money, there is no mileage in him leaving Aston Villa to go to a Europa League team or a team not even in the Europa League. There is no sense in doing that. You might as well stay at your boyhood club where you're an absolute hero. He's going to go to a Champions League club. Right now, I think Tottenham and Leicester, as examples, have a much better chance of being in the Champions League than Arsenal. That's why I think he'd look at them over you. Do I think he would pick... I don't think he'd pick Leicester or Tottenham over Man United, Chelsea, City, or Liverpool. They're going to be the top 4. Arsenal, I get a lot of Arsenal fans talking about Jack Grealish at the moment. If I'm being brutally honest, I would forget that as an option. I would forget that as a pipe dream, because I think he's way outside the realms of player that Arsenal Football Club could sign.
No, there's no such thing as forgetting a target that is actually obtainable.
But you're only going to sign him if nobody else wants him.
No, that's not how it works, Terry. That's not how it works. In football, if you offer the the best pay package for the player, if you offer him the best platform to continue his career and grow as a player, in addition to that, if you outbid everybody else, you can get the player. Also, Arsenal has a situation right now where we are building a core of English players with Emil Smith-Rowe, Saka, and these guys, right? If we add a Jack Grealish, we add that leader that we need. Everything we need in a player is Jack Grealish. And as a club, I think that's the guy they're going to be going for.
So you think if you offer him first team place, more money than Man United, and the captain's armband, and Man United say, look, you're gonna be a first team player, you'll start a majority of games, but we're not going to pay you as much as Arsenal. You think he would pick you over us?
I think if everything's even, and the only difference is you guys are in the Champions League and we're not, I think he would still consider coming to Arsenal. Yes, straight up. That no, you're laughing. You're laughing. At the end of the day, you have to understand this is a footballer,
I'm not saying he wouldn't
and this is
consider.
what's best for him.
But this is my point to you. If Man United, everything we're talking about is hypothetical. It's a hypothetical conversation about the future.
Yeah.
If Liverpool, Man United, City, Chelsea, Arsenal all go in for him, they all know you've got to be serious. You've got to offer him the right money. You've got to offer him the right squad status. We've got Champions League football to offer at some of these clubs. If all being equal, like you've just said, if all things are being equal, of course he'll think about Arsenal. But all things being equal, he is going to pick one of the Champions League teams over Arsenal. For me, it's almost a cast iron fact. He is not going to pick Arsenal if you finish 8th over the team that wins the league if they're after him as well. I just can't see how you can fathom that. Like, yes, you can offer money and everything else, but honestly, I think you're setting yourself up for a massive fall, bruv, in terms of it not happening. I can't. The only way you get him is if none of the Champions League teams come in for him, and then you excessively outbid everybody else. That would be the way. And if that's what happens, then great, fair play to you. You've picked up a talent. But I can't imagine the world of football just allowing Arsenal to go out there and get him and no one else being interested. And I know a lot of people saying I'm being salty. I'm being realistic here. It's Jack Grealish we're talking about. We're not talking about some relatively unknown French or German winger that no one's really... This is Jack Grealish, bruv. Everyone wants him.
Listen, as a club, if we're serious and we're serious about getting back into title contention and winning things, when I say get the best leader in the Premier League, get one of the best leaders in the Premier League to improve our squad, because one thing we've always said is we lack leadership. Terry, strictly as a recruitment strategy, this would be the best move that the club could make. As a fan, that's something I would love to see.
Mate, so you're conflating two different trains of thought here. Going after Jack Grealish and signing Jack Grealish is exactly what Chelsea should do. Arsenal should do. My point is, you're not the front runners for him. You're not the only club looking at him. And like you just said, if all things being equal and all the teams that are interested bid the right money, offer the right salary, he's picking them over you. He's picking Man United and Liverpool over Arsenal.
Let me tell you why we're the favorites. One, we have a big gaping hole.
Hang on. You're confusing me now. So a minute ago,
I think we're the favorites.
Hang on a minute. So a minute ago, you said that he wouldn't pick Arsenal over Man United. Now you're saying you're the favorites to sign him.
Let me explain why.
Okay.
I think we're the favorites because, one, we have a gaping hole in that spot. Two, I think if Manchester United were to come into him, they would have to find a way to sell Pogba first. They would not be able to just get him straight up. I genuinely believe that, right? B,
so go back to the Pogba thing. What makes you believe that? What factual information have you got that we couldn't afford to go and buy Jack Grealish?
I just think because you have a lot of players in that position, you would not be able to have a Pogba, Bruno, and a Grealish in your squad, spending all that money on those three players. If financially, business-wise, it would not make sense for Manchester United.
Nonsense.
What do you mean nonsense? Do you not realize having three players who basically play in this exact same position and making them your most expensive players?
They do not play in the same positions.
Yes. Tactically, you could have them in different. You can have them in different setups.
Hang on a minute, but based on your logic, I mean, I swear, Man City, when they were Centurions and back-to-back champions, there was KDB, Bernardo Silva, David Silva, Phil Foden, Mahrez. Mans that all take up very similar positions on the field of play with one another, and they manage just fine. Cool, that's your logic. That's what you're saying. What's the other reasons? What's C?
That's okay. You're talking about Liverpool. I honestly feel like Liverpool have other priorities, and they would not be going after a central attacking midfielder. We haven't heard at that as being their main target. Their main targets have been going after an Mbappe or Haaland, and they would be going after a striker. Same thing with City. I feel like City would be going after a striker, and that would be their main priority. They already have Kevin De Bruyne. I don't think they're going to be going after a Jack Grealish also. Although we have heard of links up from Man City, but it's been the quietest from all of them. Tottenham.
Okay, just one sec, because I am listening to you. Thank you, everybody, for your super chats. So you're saying you're the favourites. We're talking two different things again here. I'm saying hypothetically, you'd be bottom of the list if all the top big six came in for him. That's fine. We'll take this on a slightly different rail and then see if you still think you're favourites. Which Premier League clubs and European clubs, in your opinion, are genuinely in for Jack, who are showing genuine interest in Jack Grealish and will go for him this summer? Who do you think is going to do that?
I think the only club that's shown any interest is Manchester United. And there's been rumors of Arsenal, and Tottenham had interest in him in the past, but they weren't willing to pay 14 million. So I don't think they're going to pay 100 million.
I mean, the thing is Manchester City are actually I've been leading the race with the bookies for a while, along with Manchester United. They're there. I hear you on that. Like I say though, bro, and I mean this in a genuine way to you. If Man United is serious about signing him, there is not a chance in hell that Arsenal would be the favourites over Man United in this title race. In this race to sign him.
It's happened before. There's been signings where you guys wanted and we've gotten. So I don't have the whole list of names.
You must know one list of names. Who off the top of your head of Man United desperately wanted and that you beat us to in recent years?
I can't put it off the top of my head, Terry.
There isn't anyone.
I don't just have a long.
We've taken your players off of you. You've got Gabriel in the summer. People might throw out. Man United weren't overtly serious about that. We didn't go out. It was a last minute inquiry, and we were like, "Cool." It wasn't a thing. We were like, "We need him. He's a priority for us." So who are the players that you've beaten us to? What have you done? Who are these players you've beaten everybody to?
Terry, you're trying to move the topic away from the main topic.
I'm not.
You're moving the topic away from the main topic. Let's get back to let's get back to Jack Grealish then. That was the topic.
We're talking Jack Grealish. No, we're talking Jack Grealish. You want to move back to the Jack Grealish conversation because you've made a claim you can't substantiate. You've said that it's happened before. Give me some examples of in the last 15 years of players that Manchester United. Sol Campbell signed for you over 15 years ago. Give me an example.
That was a player.
Give me an example. Let me finish my question of examples in the last 15 years that Man United have gone after as their main target and you've beaten us to.
As I said, I gave you one already. Sol Campbell was one of the best defenders in the league at the time. And Manchester United wanted him. Manchester United did want him. And he chose to come on a free to Arsenal instead of go to a team that pretty much won the league almost every year.
But that's you got him on a free, which is fair enough. That's over 15 years ago, so that's outside that. So that's one.
But you asked me to say one. You didn't ask me to give you a laundry list. You said one, so I gave you one.
Where's the evidence that Man United were in for him heavily? Where have you seen this,
Terry? Back then, social media was different. But I know for a fact
you're making that. Listen, I've been a Man United fan my whole life. Sol Campbell to Manchester United was never ever a rumor or a thing that was going around at all. What year did he even sign for Arsenal? By the way. What year did he join Arsenal? He joined Arsenal in
2000
or 2001. Was this when we had Yap Stam? We weren't after him, bruv.
No, I heard that's different.
But where's your evidence?
Do you want me to search it? Do you want me to search this up on the internet right now? That's what you want me to do, Terry?
I'm confused. I've never heard this rumor. So barring Sol Campbell, and I said the last 15 years, that was nearly 20. That was 20 years ago he joined you. Tell me a player that Man United's been on our number one priority list that you've beaten us to. You've made the claim, back it up.
Listen, we're moving away from the target, Terry. Let's go back to the target. I said to you, I don't know a whole laundry list of players.
Can you concede that you're wrong? Because that didn't happen.
I said a very vague statement. You're now nitpicking at that statement.
No, I'm not, because you're making out. Let's go back to Jack Grealish. You're sitting here and saying that your favourites to get Jack Grealish, you can beat Man United to him. It's absolutely fair for you to say that. I'm asking you to give me an example of when this has happened. You can't give me. You said it's happened before. I said give me an example in the last 15 years. You threw out Sol Campbell from 20 years ago. It was never really linked to Man United at all. It was always Arsenal that he was going to. It was the worst kept secret in the world of football. So you don't have a singular example for me. And then you're saying, I'll just go back to Jack Grealish. You took us down this road, and I'm asking you.
What about Ramsey? Ramsey is an academy kid. What about Pepe? Just a couple years ago, you guys were linked to Pepe also.
Okay, linked to Pepe, or were we chasing heavily?
What about even Thomas Partey himself? You guys bought Van de Beek.
We didn't inquire about him. See, we had a journalist on this show that spoke about this very openly. The player is interested in Man United, and this is his exact words. Arsenal are the favourites, and Arsenal will sign him. He said it on this show. Man United have made no genuine attempt to sign him. So what you've got to differentiate is these two things. A team putting in multiple bids, like we would when we were chasing Harry Maguire, it was bid after bid after bid trying to get him. Bruno Fernandes, bid after bid after bid, negotiating, trying to get him. Making an inquiry and saying, oh, what's the availability of Joe Bloggs? He's got his heart set on Arsenal. All right, cool, and walk away. That isn't the same. That isn't going toe-to-toe with someone. And those two things shouldn't be, in my opinion, conflated. Like I've said, Arsenal can sign Jack Grealish. It's doable. But if Man United or another big Champions League British club comes in for him, and to your words, all things being equal, offer the same type of salaries, the same squad statuses, I genuinely do not see him picking Arsenal over those teams. You may be 2 or 3 years away from even getting back into the Champions League. What's he going to be? 30 years old by then. It's just, I genuinely mean this. I think you're deluding yourself again.
Terry, I feel like the media, I feel like in general, fans have completely been disillusioned by the fact that we have a bad squad, and they've now contemplated that and turned it into a thing where we cannot attract anybody. That is not true. In the grand scheme of things, when you come to world football, Arsenal Football Club still has the appeal and the pulling power to attract the top talents. It's just if we have the extra dollars to pay for those talents. Now, if we're in a situation where we do get a Jack Grealish, that is a situation where we can solve a problem for the next 10 years. As a club, yes, it's a smart decision. And if they do it, in a year's time, I'm going to look like a genius. But right now, it is a pipe dream, and I know that. But if it does come true, I'll love it.
And bruv, you've just said what I've been saying this whole time. You're calling me salty. Pipe dream.
No. But what you're doing is you're taking away the fact that it's a fan's dream, and you're making it seem like you're disillusioning people into saying that it will never ever happen, which is not true.
I've never said it happen. There's two things you said there, Miguel. One, I said it won't not happen. All I've said is if other teams are coming in for him, I think it's highly unlikely. And people are throwing some examples in here, good examples. Oxlade-Chamberlain and Aaron Ramsey, Man United did. We did inquire about those two players. But again, know your history. Man United didn't go into a bidding war. It wasn't, neither of those players at the time were number one targets that Man United, like top 2, top 3 priority targets that Man United had in their sights up against Arsenal. Arsenal in the Premier League era have seldomly outdid Man United in that area, and especially in the last 15 years, since this Emirates move and everything else, we know this. And like you've just said, it's your dream to get him. But you've got to be realistic when it comes to, it's my dream to score the winning goal in an FA Cup final, but I don't think it's going to happen.
I think it is realistic though at the same time. As much as it's
realistic. If bigger and richer clubs with more appeal and pull than Arsenal want him, I don't see how you think it's realistic you're going to get him in front.
It's because
favorites over you. I don't see how you see that you've got a better chance than them. I'm confused.
Okay, as a footballer, maybe if you're that good, you don't need assurances for playing spots. I get that, and you want to be playing for the best teams. Everything else, I get that. But when it comes to Jack Grealish, he would be fitting in perfectly, going into a situation that he knows for his own career would give him the best platform to express himself. Going into a situation where he would basically be able to stamp his authority from day one, walking into a team, improving them immediately. I'm not saying he wouldn't do that also for Man United, but at Man United, he would have a situation where he would be competing with more people, competing with more situations, and the whole financial situation, having 3 midfielders that play the same position as him, or arguably similar positions to him that you guys spent big money on, right? So that's why I said Manchester United would first maybe need to sell Paul Pogba in order for me to see a Jack Grealish walking into that team on a financial aspect.
Yeah, listen, and like you say, that's sound logic. That makes sense. But I think Jack Grealish, like I've said, wants Champions League football. There is no point joining a club that's years away from being in the Champions League.
Okay. And Paul Pogba joined Manchester United, went from a team that was in the Champions League final and joined a team that went to Europe, that was in the Europa League. Yes, you guys won it, but at the same time, he went to a Europa League team. So when you're talking about this, you're also forgetting about the history. There's been guys that have come to big teams.
See, again, but you are comparing an apple with a
What about ourselves? Aubameyang joined when we were in Europa League. Lacazette joined when we were in Europa League. Partey joined when we were in the Europa League.
And let me go back and explain this. Again, two big things I'll say about this. I look at it from this point of view. Thomas Partey's made a move. I think he had an affinity to want to go to the football club. When Lacazette and Aubameyang joined, 2 years. How long has Aubameyang been here? Is it 2.5, 3 years?
Aubameyang's been here. Arsene Wenger's last year, so 3 years.
3 years, and Lacazette joined before him, so 3.5 to 4 years. The position you find yourselves in now is very, very different indeed, in my opinion. I think you make a good point with Thomas Partey. He's joined without it, but like I've said, we're talking about Jack Grealish here. I believe that Jack Grealish, so there's always examples of why people join clubs. Paul Pogba joined Man United for multiple reasons. He got straight back into the Champions League. That is what was sold to him. My view is this. I think if Jack Grealish leaves Aston Villa, he wants to walk into a team that's going to be able to give him Champions League football. That's my point of view. Thomas Partey and Jack Grealish are not the same two individuals. So Thomas Partey was excited about joining Arsenal, wanted to join Arsenal Football Club. We know Chelsea came in for him and he was like, no, I prefer Arsenal. That's fine. I don't think Jack Grealish is going to think the same as Thomas Partey. That's my opinion. I think he wants to move on and go to the next level of his game, which includes Champions League football. That's the difference. So it isn't just about comparing, oh, well, this player did it. Why wouldn't Jack Grealish? That's sound logic. That could be that. I don't think that's the case. So that's where we're going to both differ on an opinion. So we're not going to find a conclusion when it comes to an opinion. But my view is this. Man United and Man City are leading the race to sign this individual. And I don't think Arsenal can compete either financially or with what they can offer the player. And all I'm saying in that conversation, 25 minutes into this conversation, is I keep hearing a lot of Arsenal fans say, oh, we've got to go get Jackie Grealish in the summer. Like it's
You're going to laugh.
It's not like you're going out to buy a loaf of bread. I think it's delusional.
Can I say something? You're going to laugh at what I'm about to say. We have a better chance to sign him financially over Man City because Man City have a pay structure where they don't pay over the odds for individual players. They pay for a set amount. They have a set pay structure where they pay for individual players. They didn't want to pay over the odd for Harry Maguire. They didn't want to pay over the odd for Van Dijk. What makes you think they're going to pay over the odd for Jack Grealish? I think if Arsenal, there's a better chance of Arsenal paying over the odds for Jack Grealish than there is for Man City to, because they have a pay structure where they only pay a set amount of money per player.
But that only works if Jack Grealish would take the Arsenal move over Man City. So it's okay, Villa saying, cool, we'll reject City and we'll accept Arsenal's. But if Jack Grealish is like, no, but I want to go City, that becomes immaterial.
No, Terry.
Yeah,
as a human being, no, you're laughing. Let me
go back, Igal. So Arsenal bid 75 million.
Yeah.
Villa say yes.
Okay.
City say no, only 70. So Villa say no. Jack Grealish says, but I want to go to City. That doesn't mean you can't get him still. He's not going to sign your contract because he wants to go City. That will force his club, because what's going to come? What Jack Grealish again has done, in my opinion, very regular thing. He signed that new deal last summer with, in my opinion, an agreement that they will help negotiate his move away this year. I think Jack Grealish, if City and Man United come in for him, will pick them over Arsenal. That will force Aston Villa into negotiating a price that maybe they're not completely happy with. They're not. If Jack Grealish doesn't want to join you, it doesn't matter what you bid.
Okay, what about the fact that if you're outbidding the opponent, it shows that you're more serious about the player, and the player will see that and he'll be like, they're more serious about me. This is the team that wants me the most. This is the team that cares about attracting me to their club the most. And you know what? Don't also underestimate the fact of the interviews that you have with the player. If you go to Man City and Man City tell you, oh, we're going to use you sometime on the left wing, right wing, midfield, and then you come to Arsenal and they're going to say, oh, we're going to build a whole team around you. We're going to do this. We're going to show you how 10 years.
Miguel, you make a good point. But can I go? This is what happens when you debate. Let's go back to your first point. You said all things being equal. Now what you're doing is you're painting a picture where Arsenal are offering everything that's superior: money, position, place, salary. If you do that, of course you elevate your chances. But that isn't what we started debating at the beginning. You said all things being equal. If all things are equal and everyone bids the same and everybody pays the same and everybody offers in the same position in the squad, Arsenal not getting him. That's what you said, Igal. Now you're backtracking.
All things being equal, but Man City are a better team than us. So no matter what, they're gonna have more players fighting for that place than Arsenal.
I get that.
So even if we do all things being equal,
so let's get this right, because you keep changing your tune here.
I'm not changing anything. I'm trying to keep it the same.
Well, your example a minute ago was all things being equal money-wise. Now you're saying, but what if we bid more? That's you changing your tune. And of course, you can keep throwing different scenarios forward every 5 minutes. But what if this happens? What if this happens? What if Man United don't bid for him? Well, then we're not in the race, so it becomes irrelevant. It's another hypothetical here. If Man United, let's ask this question point blank, easy. If Man United, City, and Arsenal, we'll keep it to them three, bid 75 million each and offer 250 grand a week in salary, same bonuses, same level of apartment, same car, same phone, everything. They all offer him a first team place. Which of the three is he going to pick?
It depends what he's motivated by. If he's motivated by being in the best team and winning, he's probably going to pick City or Manchester United. If he's motivated by being the biggest brand, he's probably going to pick Manchester United. And if he's motivated by playing the most game time and getting the most out of his talent, he's going to pick Arsenal because we're going to offer him the most game time and the biggest platform to grow himself as a footballer.
And for me, I think Man United and Man City give him a hell of a lot of game time. They give him a game time at the highest level, including Champions League, which I think both those teams will get this season. And the money's there, and then the winning element is there. So for me, based on what you've said, he picks Man United or Man City over you. Doesn't mean you can't get him. I'm talking about, and this is where what happens is with football fans. We all do this. We all banter each other in this way. Arsenal will make a little inquiry for Bruno Fernandes. See, you wanted him. Tottenham is another one. Everyone's like, Tottenham and Liverpool went in for Bruno Fernandes. They made inquiries. The player said, I'm not interested. I only want to go to Manchester United. That is not Man United outbidding or beating Liverpool to a player. When you beat someone to a player, it's like Man United and Man City going for Harry Maguire, where you're both bidding and you're both fighting for him at the same time. And you stay in the race and one of you wins. That's what I'm talking about. And for me, if you go into a race like that with Man United or Man City for Jack Grealish, I don't personally think you can get him. That's all I've said. Of course, we can throw in all these little nuances and curveballs, but what if this, what if that? What if Man United only say he's going to be a squad player? What if City say that he's got to go out on season for a loan? What if Chelsea want to loan him out to one of their Austrian feeder clubs? Then of course he'll pick you over us. But that if anyone goes for Jack Grealish this summer, they're looking to make him a mainstay in their first team. And then it becomes down to what you say: prestige, winning, money, squad status. And I think collectively, the big clubs in the Champions League can offer a lot more than Arsenal can. And all I'm saying is this: don't hype yourself up because I can feel your excitement like you're going to get him, bro. And I think you need to calm down. KJ's with us now. KJ, what are you saying, bro?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good. Obviously, the message is always Arsenal are back in that, I'm saying Odegaard coming in to be one of the best cams in the league, and that, I'm saying, like, Bruno Fernandes needs to watch out. His spot at the top might be taken. KDB is injured. Odegaard gonna put him to the wayside, make him wish he stayed in the hospital and that. Well, listen, Arsenal, you gotta be wary of these man now. Some of the best form in the Premier League, and listen, got one of the best talents in Europe coming to their club. Like, listen, it's all mad out here in the Dunya. Like, be wary of Arsenal. Arsenal are back, people. They're back. They are, fam. Hey, gal, stop hiding, bro. You want to say it too, bro. It's on the tip of your tongue.
No, you guys are doing this because you're actually upset that Arsenal fans are not falling for it and they're not saying it themselves.
Oh, listen, Igal, listen to me. I don't care if Arsenal fans believe it or not. This is me having fun, bro. Like, listen.
Yeah.
Why are you bothered so much about rival fans? Because this is what you do, innit? You banter rival clubs, yeah, and say, oh yeah, you're this, you're that, you're pretenders, good. But as soon as someone says something about Arsenal, you're like, you're being so mean to us. Why are you being like this?
Nah, it's fair play. Fair play.
Now, it happened in these comments. The amount of gooners Terry, you're being salty, you're not understanding. It's like, I do understand. I understand how the transfer market works. I understand how the financial element of it works. But I also understand a lot of what you've said, Igal, is logical and it makes sense to a degree. But what you're discounting in this particular situation is Jack Grealish, what he wants, what's been written about him. And for me, if he leaves his boyhood club that he loves, it's going to be for a Champions League team. I don't see him going for a team that's going to finish. I don't see Arsenal finishing above 7th this season. I don't think he's going to go there. I think you're 2 or 3 years away from even pulling into that regular Champions League pack. Even with Jack, like maybe if you add Jack.
I have to say one thing, Terry. Can I stop you there?
It elevates you towards it, but you're so far behind the curve.
Oh, can I say one thing? There's something that pisses me off every single time.
What?
Every single time I hear this, every single time, and people are saying in the chat right now, everyone keeps saying Arsenal is a dead club. Terry, let me clarify what a definition of a dead club is. The definition of a dead club is a club that has fallen from grace from where they're constantly winning league titles to almost being completely irrelevant. And now in financial situation where they're getting liquidated. So no, Terry, please. Terry, let me finish. So I said, no. So a definition of a dead club is like Schalke. Schalke's gone from winning the league constantly to letting Bayern overtaking them to now completely being almost out of the league. Same thing with Barcelona has a good team right? But their club is rotten and dead on the inside.
Let me just tell you something, Gal. You are so rattled by it, it's a madness.
Wait.
That's your definition of a dead club. A lot of people would say a dead club is a team that has been consistently challenging for titles for decades and decades and is now like teetering around mid-table still. Like, that's where you are. So what are you then? Oh, you're a coma. Are you in a coma? You're coma club.
We're a bad team, but a good run club. A bad run club.
No, you come on here 3 or 4 weeks ago telling us how badly run you were. You hypocrite.
No. Financially, we're run good. When it comes to actually on the football pitch, we're not run well. That's the truth. When it comes to let me explain. Have you seen the financial situation at Barcelona? Perfect example. They kept winning league titles. Even last year they won a league title. But these guys are about to get liquidated if they don't find 700 million out of nowhere. That's not Arsenal's problem. I wouldn't win.
You've come on here multiple times.
Don't twist my words. Man.
It's not. No. This is what you've been saying. Arteta isn't the main issue. It's the dead players, it's the rubbish players, and the board not investing into Arsenal. How can you say you're a well-run club financially when you guys have to take out 120 million loan and cut half your staff?
Okay, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the actual, when you look at the clubs that are actually in debt and actually in financial situations where they could possibly fall apart as a club. That is, to me, what is a rotten club and a dead club.
Agal, two things, man. People are calling you a dead club to trigger you. You even acknowledging it has made them win. They've won that debate with you now because they've made you respond to it. Secondly, everyone's got a different definition of what a dead club is, right? For me, to see where Man United went from to languish in and around that outside the top 4, I'd say that's definitely a fallen from grace team. Oh, we're dead at the minute. I'd use that expression. Do you know what I mean? If we don't come back from that, we're dead, because Man United's prestige in history is to be up there. You know, when you have 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years away from that, you're dead, bruv. Like, as far as I'm concerned, that's just me. But we're not going to get nitpicky over this. You, though, brother, you, my friend, right? My friend, I'll call you my friend. You change your tune like the British weather changes. It's a madness. 1 week, the ball, the terrible, we run. Like, you just sat here and said that 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks, we run terribly as a club. Maybe not financially, but as a football club. And then you're sitting there telling me Jackie Grealish is going to pick that over Man United. Nothing you say adds up. What you do, Gal, you're a very good politician. You change your morality. Gal Hancock, you change your morality, your integrity moves, your opinions and your logic changes depending upon the individual argument that you're trying to win. And like we've gone through this whole Jack Grealish thing, I enjoyed it a lot. At the beginning, it was, if all things are equal, I make Man United favourites. You change yourself to, actually, if we outbid you and we do all these things, you might get him in front of you. Of course. That's actually quite normal.
Yeah, I've got a question.
It's weird.
Do you genuinely believe that Arsenal would pay the money it takes to buy Jack Grealish? Because he ain't alone. He ain't a loan signing, bro. So you can't get him on loan. And he ain't a £50 million player. 60 man's gonna be more expensive than Pepe. So
and he's gonna come in and be one of you. He'll come in on whoever signs him. You're gonna have to be paying Jack Grealish in weekly salary. If you break it down to weekly, it's gonna be £250,000 a week minimum. He is moving for big bucks because he's killing it this season.
So do you honestly believe the way that Arsenal are as a club and how they ran, that you guys, no, I'm not saying you can't be in for Grealish, that you guys would pay the money and pay the salary that this brother wants and that club and Villa want?
If we want him, we have to. So I think we
if
we want to,
will you? Will you or will you not? Will you? Yes or no?
I can't predict the future, guys. Let's be honest. I can't predict the future.
No. I'm sorry. I'm getting triggered now. You just sat here and predicted the future for 40 minutes saying you can get him, you will get him. What if this happens? So we could do this? You've sat here predicting the fucking
everything future. Is hypotheticals.
Then hypothetically, would you or would you not do it?
As a club, we have to do it.
No. The question is, do you believe that Arsenal would pay the money it takes to buy Jack Grealish? Yes or no?
Yes, I think we would. Based on what I've seen over the past couple of weeks, we've been willing to pay off people's contracts, terminate people's contracts. So if we're willing to terminate people's contracts, 7 million here, 7 million there, I'm really sure we will be able to agree to a contract like that.
Stop
paying.
with the financial stuff. When you cancel someone's contract, you're only paying them what you were going to pay them in their salary anyway. So you're paying £7 million off someone's contract is the same as paying their weekly wage for the rest of the contract. It's no different. That's not additional money you're giving out, bruv. It's the same thing. And often it isn't paid in lump sums anyway. You know when managers are sacked? Very rarely do they get the money in a lump sum. It's just paid in a monthly salary to them for the rest of their contract. Again, the media distort how the finances in football actually work because they're idiots and liars and they try and dumb everyone down and lie to them. Bruv, I love you, Igal, but you infuriate me. Like 1 minute you're like, I can't answer these questions and I won't answer it and you dodge it. The next minute you're unequivocal that this could happen. And then you're like, I don't like predicting the future though. Bro, honestly, you're confused, bro. Honestly, every 5 minutes you forget what you've said. Like a goldfish.
Look, at the end of the day, I'm looking at this as a fan. And as a fan, if I could go and this was Football Manager and I could get the best player possible for us for the next 10 years, that would be Jack Grealish. And as a club, if they can see that and they made the deal happen, it would be the best signing possible. Will it happen? I hope so. Can it happen? Yes, it can. That's
Aston Villa finish above you, gal. He ain't moving to your.
Doesn't mean shit. If they finish above us and we win the Europa League, we're still in Champions League.
Hey, gal, listen. You are saying all these things about Arsenal that you're a big club and you're still a big club, you're still attractive. Yeah, cool. And players still like that, and players' mentality are towards those things.
Yeah.
You're underestimating the power of love for a boyhood club. Jack Grealish loves Aston Villa. So if he has, I've listened to Villa fans. I know them because I live in the area. They all say, Jack Grealish will not leave us if we're showing that they were progressing. They said it last summer. They said it some before that. And they say it now. If Arsenal finish above, if they finish above Arsenal and they're in the Europa League and Arsenal are not, Jack Grealish ain't leaving to go and fight in the Premier League. He wants to test himself in Europe. And who would you rather do it with? A club you have no official affiliation to, or the boyhood club that you've dragged from the depths up into that spot? You pick your boyhood club.
And this is one thing I think that some Arsenal fans are negating here. The only way he leaves Villa, even if they're progressing, is to go to a colossal, gigantic team that are winning Premier League titles, that are pushing for titles, that are in the Champions League, or have a prestige which is above and beyond anything else, which is why City and Man United are the leading two lights. And most Villa fans, and KJ will get this because he's from that area, if he left for Man United in the summer and they got the right money for him, they'd be annoyed, but they'd understand it and they'd respect him still. I think if he left and went to Arsenal, I even think if he left and went to Leicester, definitely. If he left and went to Tottenham, I think it would annoy Villa fans because it'd be like, is it that much of a step up, really, in the cold light of day?
Yeah,
and the answer is, and they'd be annoyed about it. And I think Jack Grealish is conscious of that. So that's what that's a genuine, tangible thing that has to be factored in. And all I'm saying is this. Sorry, KJ. All I'm saying is this. All your hypotheticals are true. If no one else comes in for him and he wants to leave and it's only Arsenal, he might go to you. But the likelihood of all those stars aligning in that particular way is nigh on impossible. That's my point to you, bruv. The fact of Man United pulling away, City not bidding as much as you, Liverpool not offering him the first team opportunity he needs, and him being willing to go to a club that maybe finishes 8th in the league. Like, even for those four things to all happen at the same time, for Arsenal to lead the way, highly unlikely, bruv. Highly unlikely.
And I want to say about Villa, because obviously a lot of people ain't from Brum and not around it. Aston Villa are a club of history. They've got the prestige. They've got more Champions Leagues than Arsenal. You know what I'm saying? They've got more European trophies than Arsenal. They've won leagues. There is history behind that club. It's not just a random club that you can just poach any player off. Jack Grealish has grew up in that, loves that, and it will be hard to take him away from that. He almost left when they went into the championship, but he didn't go through, and the man stayed. And he didn't throw toys at the pram. He didn't complain. He didn't moan. He carried them. He elevated himself and that team to a new level. And now, right now, they're a better team than Arsenal. So Aston Villa ain't. I'm not gonna have no Aston Villa as a small club. Aston Villa is a normal club. Like, no, they've got history. They've got prestige. They're supported by the freaking Prince of England.
Okay, let me ask you guys a question. Genuine question. Okay, Jack Grealish comes to Arsenal, right? If he does come to Arsenal, or if he was to sign for Arsenal, Do you see that as one of the best fits possible for what we're missing?
I mean, yeah. I mean, of course we do. But you know what? Lionel Messi would be a great fit possible for what you're missing. Kimmich would be a good possibility for what you're missing. Van Dijk would improve your team so much, bruv. Like there are indeed, he would improve your team so much. The likelihood of you signing these individuals, in my opinion, is low. And at the end of the day, Jack Grealish is so sought after. You know what? You mentioned the Thomas Partey thing earlier. You're right about that. Thomas Partey picked you. But at the same time, barring Chelsea that showed interest, no club was hot on these towels. Now, I think that was a mistake by Manchester United. The only caveat we threw in was, well, let's see who we buy in the next 12 months. Because we land in Ndidi, I'm happy we didn't get Thomas Partey because I think it equals itself out as an example. Yeah. That's how you get Jack Grealish. If nobody else if Jack Grealish is like, listen, Villa, thanks for the new deal, I want to move on now. If only Arsenal come in for him and show genuine interest. And this is where fans have got to sometimes drop the rivalry nonsense. You know, I could be bantering Liverpool all the time. Bruno picked us over you. I might have thrown it in a little here and there. But what we know, the facts are, is no one got rejected. He just said, I only want to play for Manchester United, and nobody else actually came in for him. The Pepe thing. It was sold by the Arsenal press that Pepe chose Arsenal over Liverpool. No. Pepe wanted first team football. Liverpool said, you will be backup to our people. And he said, I don't want that. So Liverpool walked away. Ever before he agreed to deal with Arsenal. That isn't the same as he rejected Liverpool for Arsenal. It's such a weird nuance. To get what I mean? It's like me asking a girl out on a date today. She says, no, I'm not looking for a boyfriend at the minute. I've just come out of a relationship. And 4 years later, when she gets with another bloke, he's like, oh yeah, she rejected Terry Flewers for me. Not really. It ain't. It's just a madness, which is spun like PR thing, bruv. And it doesn't most of the time.
And Gal, you're forgetting. Why are you even concerned about Jack Grealish when Odegaard is here? He's gonna smack the lead, and you guys are gonna buy him straight afterwards. You're gonna bid. If you can bid for Jack Grealish, you can bid for Odegaard. Take him away from Real Madrid. We make him reject Real Madrid and come to the mighty Arsenal because you guys are back. You know what I'm saying?
Ram's here with us. Final say. So Ram, go on, mate. What do you want to say, bro?
Yeah, it was kind of interesting what you guys were saying about Jack Grealish and how the whole big clubs and everything like that. And I think it needs to be said that the most important thing is if the likes of United, City, or Liverpool are going to go after Jack Grealish, I don't think Arsenal have any chance of getting Jack Grealish if we're that interested in him, no matter what. It was a similar situation about 10 years ago. I think Claudio Marchisio wants to leave Juventus and Liverpool were in for him, but then the likes of Barcelona, Real Madrid also, and we were just like, we can't compete with those kind of clubs. And I think Egal needs to accept the fact that Arsenal are no longer the club that they were. And like KJ said, Aston Villa have got heritage, and the most important thing is if they're progressing, and he is a local lad, as they would say, he won't leave. It's a bit like Romagnoli and Donnarumma. If Milan's progressing, why the hell would they leave? It's their club. It's their boyhood club. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, I mean, look, I love the comments. Some people are like, Terry, you're making no sense. You're waffling. And some people saying the gal's waffling. Put your rivalry aside for a moment and just look at the cold, hard facts. Like when it comes to transfers, what I always love about people is everybody always hates the media when they say things they don't like. But when they print a story that's nonsense about, this player rejected X, Y, and Z club, it's what they always do. You know, it weren't with the Odegaard thing. You saw straight away, you must have seen the PR Gal when they tried to put out the Odegaard was convinced to come here after a phone call with Mikel Arteta. You saw that, right? You saw that. Yeah, you always see it. And that's the point. And everybody's starting to notice these PR tricks. It won't be long until another big Premier League name is maybe thrown into this. And they'll take an obscure link from a few months ago and they'll link it in and say, oh my God, look, he's nearly joined Chelsea on loan. But in fact, he chose Arsenal. Anything to elevate and make things look better. But most real football fans just not interested in that, because what you'll find is Arsenal are out there scouting the world, the same as Man United, same as Chelsea, same as Liverpool. So in theory, we're all looking at the same players. So you could spin it any which way you want. If Man United sent a scout today to watch, give me a name of a player abroad, young, Alphonso Davies. We have a scout watching him. We can't sign him from Bayern, but let's just say he is. But Liverpool also send a scout looking at him. And in 18 months' time, Liverpool sign him. You could spin that to Liverpool got him over Man United. Oh, how's that? Well, because you scouted him once. It means you were interested. Liverpool they were also interested and they got him. It's all bollocks. It doesn't really work like that. Every now and then you get a bidding war where 2 or 3 clubs are fighting out for a player. Man United City for Van Persie, Man United City for Harry Maguire, as an example, where 2 clubs go head to head for an individual. It very rarely happens like that. But of course, that isn't good for the newspapers, is it, to explain it that way? Sai here says, honestly, Emil Smith-Rowe can reach Jack Grealish's levels in a few years. Also, why don't Arsenal try to sign Maddison instead if everyone else goes for Grealish?
Again, the level of club, Leicester are basically on par with Arsenal right now. So it would be not. Yeah. What would be the point of for Maddison size?
They're better than Arsenal right now.
True.
To be fair, they are better.
Leicester are better than Arsenal right now, Agal.
Leicester have a better team, but they're not a better club.
But again, you're twisting words. They were very
no,
that's wrong.
The amount of the platform that Leicester can reach. Yes, they won the Premier League recently, and maybe they can do it again in the near future. You don't know. But with Arsenal, at the end of the day, you do have a bigger platform. You do have a more global brand. There's existential factors that you guys are almost excluding whenever you speak about Arsenal. Guys, come on. Let's not be disillusioning the fans.
We're not saying that you don't have these things, but we're saying it's not enough.
That's not true. That's not true. Conte left Leicester's Premier League winning side for Chelsea that were 10th. So at the end of the day, whatever you guys talk about, we could not be in Europe and still attract. Let me finish. We could not be in Europe, be outside of the top 7, 8, be 10th, not win the Europa League, not be in any of those competitions, and still attract players from clubs that are in the Europa League if they're not a top 6 club. Let's be honest.
You're making it out like we're saying that you guys are so crap. Yeah, you can't even sign freaking Jack Wadwell.
That's what you're doing.
No, we're not. We're saying realistically, comparing Arsenal in the position they are now to teams like Leicester and everyone else, it's not inconceivable to say, why would I go there when I've already got what I've got here? Like, global recognition, global branding is nice, but football players care more than that. Playing good football and being high in the league.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm a footballer and someone said to me, you got two clubs, didn't tell me the names. One, you get global recognition, 8th, and maybe an FA Cup, or fighting for the title, fighting for the top 4, go deep into Europa League, but you don't get as much global recognition. I'm taking the better team, bruv.
Where the global recognition really helps is if you've got 2 teams. If it's Man City and Leicester City fighting out for a player, Man City can offer you global recognition because of their brands growing massively and challenging for titles, top 4, Champions League. It works. Neeks here says Leicester have a better team, better manager, better owners, and are a better run club in terms of recruitment and player development. Arsenal have history.
Let me give you an example.
Just to add on KJ's point, Leicester City has a young squad as well, and it can last for a very, very, very long time. So you're going to be with the.
I hear that. I hear that. You're going to say something, Gal. Final point, Gal, and then we're going to end the stream.
Okay. As we're looking at it from the Premier League point of view, if you were to look at it from outside of the Premier League, okay, and you had a choice between, say, Lyon or Marseille, or you had a choice between Atlanta or Roma, and these clubs are small differences, but it's just the fact that their league positionings are slightly different. Realistically, some people will still pick the Lyon over the Marseille. Some people will still pick the Roma over the Atlanta based on the history and the fact that the club has a bigger reach for that player to have a bigger platform to grow.
Where you're giving a bad example there is right now, as far as I'm aware, neither Roma or Atlanta are challenging to win Serie A. If Atlanta were like Leicester and they're like legit challenging for like titles and top 4s, and Roma were literally teetering between 7th, 8th, and 9th, and nobody was sure whether they were going to move up or down or not, that's a difference. Again, you're giving a false equivalence there. If it was Arsenal, if you're a West Ham, who are actually doing quite well at the minute, it's maybe a bad example. Let's say you're a West Brom and you're deliberating between Arsenal and say Everton right now. That's a great example. But that isn't the scenario here. It's Maddison leaving, Leicester that are in a great position. I don't see him wanting to leave unless he's going into a club that he feels is either moving into a better position than Leicester are going to be in, or are already in a better position and get to elevate him. I just think that's why, by the way, we've seen such a leveling out of football clubs in the last 5 to 6 years because clubs have money with the new TV deal rights. So the clubs are not forced into selling the players as easily as before. Because that therefore means teams keep a core group of players together for a lot longer, you find yourself in a situation where the Evertons, the Wolves, the Southamptons until recent weeks, Leicester's are starting to punch their weight more at the highest level because they're not being forced into selling players. And by the way, the only real reason that Kante left so quickly from Leicester is because he had a very low buyout clause. He had a £27 million buyout clause, and it was easy for him to go. And then he went on to a team that I do think he's won the league title with twice since then, or at least once. And maybe it's twice. No, it's once. But from my point of view, it's a case of if Leicester wouldn't have had that buyout clause, Chelsea may not have signed him in that particular summer. He might have stayed for another year or so, and they could have won. They could have defended the title. Who knows? Like that's when Kante was like.
And look, Vardy got an offer from Arsenal and said no. Mahrez didn't leave until the season after that. Like he could have left when they won the league, but he stayed into the season after, and then he went finally. You know what I'm saying? Like players do have their own decisions to make.
Went to Man City. He went to Man. He elevated himself, so he actually he stayed for a while. He did 2 more full seasons at Leicester.
2018, he left.
Yeah, he left. So and then he went to a bigger, better run club with more. People got to understand this, man.
That was Wenger's fault, man. Wenger opened his mouth and told Vardy, "I'll play you on the right wing, left wing sometimes." He should have just kept his mouth shut and said, "You'll play striker every week."
But there's no guarantee that he would even want to say yes anyway.
Yeah. No, he was signing until he had the face-to-face meeting with Wenger, and Wenger told him, "I'm gonna play you here, there, and everywhere."
See, no, but that's not a bad thing though, bruv. Because what would you rather? Your manager lies and then starts playing him there, and then he becomes a disgruntled player in the dressing room.
No, just tell him that when he shows up, because then at that point he has no say.
That's lying.
Lying, brother.
No, that's not lying. That's not lying. That's not giving.
That's lying.
You're holding
no,
the
not
truth.
lying.
You're basically lying, bro.
The definition of lying is giving somebody information that's false. He hasn't given him any information. So how
you are lying.
Liar, Agal. You just said. Just tell him he's always going to play striker. That information.
No. Okay. Yeah, that's wrong.
Okay, cool. You literally do this all the time, Miguel, on every point. On every point. You twist it to try and make it look good. I was going to give you an example. If I offered you a job at the Football Terrace and I was like, bruv, you're going to be the main host of the match reaction shows and only the match reaction shows. And then you turn up and I'm like, yeah, bruv, the first job you're doing is making the tea. You're going to be like, what? And then the second job you're doing is cleaning the studio. What? And then what I'll do in about 6 months is I'll give you an opportunity to host one of the match reaction shows for a dead City game. You'd be fuming, bruv. You can't lie to people like that. It never worked. Maybe that's why your club fell down. Maybe you were lying to all these players. They turned up and they were like, oh, that ain't what you promised me.
Well, you definitely was lying. Don Raul Sanelli about where the money was going.
Yeah. Guys, definition of character. Let's be careful.
You're the one who's lying, not us, mate. We're not the liars. I'm only joking. Bro, listen, it's been a great debate. I love going through it. My favorite part is looking at the comments, and you can see by the comments the cognitive dissonance that both Igal creates in people and I created in people just by giving opinions. It's like, oh, you shouldn't say that. What? Relax your brain, innit? Listen, we're back. We didn't even mean to do this stream. It wasn't even planned, but we did it anyway. We're back tonight after the Chelsea Wolves game. What a game it's! I'm so excited to see it now.
They're gonna lose.
Listen, Terry, yeah. I've got his name. You know, I still don't have a name for Tuchel. Yeah, I've got his name already, bro. Yo, I hope Wolves go Pam the Oktoberfest Martinez fam because he's out here. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Oktoberfest Martinez, let's go, baby.
I love it. Listen, everyone who's tuned in, thank you. Hit the like and share button. Please go and subscribe to our Discord server. The link's below. Also, go check out our Facebook page as well. We're streaming on there, and a lot more content's coming that way. It's grown massively in the last few weeks because we stream on there more regularly. So go and check out our Facebook page as well. Share these links, share these debates. Until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless.